Yo, what's up guys? Bill here, Classic Rock and Metal Review. Hopefully this is picking up nicely on this microphone. Probably, if you're seeing it, because if it doesn't, you're not. This is going to be I should have probably just live streamed this actually. This is going to be a no-edit edition here. I'm always, chopping things up to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go with no edits on this entire edition, and here we are, as you can see, on the beach. That's right, Jersey Shore. This is what I'm doing, man. This is why things slow down in the summer. I'll show you a couple of other reasons why, besides this awesome view and awesome scene. This original, I don't know if it's the 32 gig, 16 gig, whatever. It's got 16,000 songs on it. I love it. They discontinued iPod altogether a year or so ago. So guys, there's people that are sort of second market, aftermarket, upgrading them, repairing them, and stuff like that. You can still get them for now. But I actually traded in this version 2-3 years ago to Best Buy because it wouldn't take a charge anymore. It was a next day air kind of thing. The next day I went and picked it up, Best Buy, totally replaced, just like you would swap out an iPhone when it's broken. That's how they do it, or that's how they used to do it. So if you got any interest in a music-only device like this, guys, get on the bandwagon now before things skyrocket a few years from now when these things are few and far between, all right? Love this thing. No bullshit interruptions with commercials or nothing, just my music. And people ask me stupid questions like, well, why don't you just get Spotify? Yeah. Am I finding Blue Oyster Cult Live and 75 on there? I don't think so. You can have your Spotifys and all that other shit. This is what I listen to, man. All right, so there's that. Of course, you got your sunblock, Trader Joe's rules. If you got one near you, this is $5. Don't pay $10 for the other bullshit brands. Less cancer. It does the same damn job. All right. There's your tip of the day. Larry, I finished my Bill Graham book. You can have it if you want. If you want to email the channel, your address. I promise no bullshit. I don't know the first thing about selling people's info, and that's a dick thing to do anyway. So I'll send you that book if you want it. Don't pay for it. It's a paper book. It's in decent shape. And per your suggestion, this is my new read. It just came yesterday from Amazon. Brothers and Sisters, the whole story of basically when Dickie had to sort of pull things together for the band musically, as you can imagine with Greg losing his brother and such. And I already knew about that. I already was on board with the fact that he really kept things chugging along for the band, taking on the slide guitar, the main songwriter there for a couple years. So I'm really going to enjoy this, man. Thanks for that rec. And this hardcover, basically, guys, was $11 on Amazon. So I wasn't passing that up. It was like 55-60% off or something. All right. What else is going on? I think that's it. Oh, well, of course. You got your beverage of the day. That goes without saying. All right. So I'm having a little bit of what kept me up till 3:30 in the morning last night. Little hair of the dog. All right. So let's get into it. This is the monthly haul. This is actually, I didn't do one for May. So this is actually going back to April. I'm going to do 2 of them here in June. So part 1, what I should have did a few weeks ago. Let's get into it. I already showed you that I got this collection, by the way, it's 13 titles again. I've had a chance to listen to each and every one of them. So you get a little feedback from now on. No more just showing you stuff unless I've had a listen, give you some input. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. This collection here, these 13 CDs, guys, span 1959, starting with this guy, jazz classic Kind of Blue from Miles Davis, on up to 2012. All right? And just a classic. If you don't have it, you need it. Starter for me. Starter for anyone who wants a little jazz in their collection. And it's a good one to listen to it once. Another pickup from the same occasion when I went to Haddonfield Record Exchange. This one, Cream, Wheels of Fire. Now, with this one, I've only heard the studio album, studio CD. All right? Side, or CD 2, or album 2 was Alive at the Fillmore. Told you some great stories about that situation. And I just gave you one story, actually. That Bill Graham book's chock full of a lot of Cream action in it. So I only heard the studio album on this one. Really up and down, man. These guys are really seems like they were on a mission to either make a classic blues rock song or just make something just totally out there, So it's totally up and down, and I think that's what the band kind of wanted to do, and successful at that. some wacky kind of stuff, you know, psychedelic, you could say. Some of those non-familiar songs. But I only heard it once, so I'll get back into that. Interesting listen. Classic Cream from '68. And I think we're 73 now with this one. Carole King, her follow-up to Tapestry. Music is the name of this one. Couple bucks on eBay, man. And this is a solid album. Probably suffers from some of that traditional, you know, follow-up to a classic sort of thing. But man, this is solid. Every song on here is good. Really nothing bad. I think James Taylor co-sings one of these songs. Of course, they had that touring relationship, I think still to this day. Tour together now and then. Great album from Carole King, really. I mean, like I said, there isn't a bad song on it. It's a little vanilla, you know, a little middle of the road. But she is a sort of conglomerate of styles, really. You know, pop and singer-songwriter stuff, yeah. But definitely a soul background with her. You can feel it in probably 4 or 5 of these songs. They got a soul feel to that rhythm that she plays on piano. This is a really, really good album. I think this is also 73, just like that Carole King. Santana, Welcome. Super jazzy record. Speaking of jazz, I mean, not a whole lot of guitar on here. That's for one thing about it. But Santana's Welcome. I actually saw this in a bargain bin months ago. And from this cover, I just figured it was a cheesy sort of one of those special products, crazy compilation, cheap thing. No, it's actually a regular album. There's from 73. This edition here, is this a Buddha Records? Not really sure. But it has a bonus track that's not on the album called Mantra. Really good album, but it is really jazzy. Be ready for that if you get into this era of Santana, 73. I think they started with this a year before that, Caravanserai, which I used to have that on cassette. I want to get that back. But that was a really jazzy sort of psych affair. This one maybe a little less psych and a little more jazz fusion style. And not a lot of guitar, like I said, but the songs are really pretty good. Lots of rhythmic action there, percussion-wise. Now here's the last of the original Skynyrd albums that I needed to get to complete my collection of their original 5, and it's the first one, actually. Had all their albums back in the day on cassette. Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, and man, I haven't heard this in so damn long. Of course, half these songs are huge hits. I really always liked I Ain't the One. I would say my favorite off of this one, non-hit wise, was Poison Whiskey. I remembered the tune, I just didn't remember how great it was. That's a killer. Freebird, you know, I mean, it's Freebird. I'm not going to say too much about it. A little unimpressed. I haven't heard that in years. And that guitar solo at the end, it's great, but it's one of those things I think is great live. Really just a lot of repeats on those riffs, huh? And you know, you got some basic hits. I had to skip through. I couldn't finish, and I never skip songs, man, never. I had to skip through Simple Man. That's just on, I think, so many people's playlists that I work with and such. Man, and I used to love the hell out of that song. It used to be my favorite on here. I actually didn't want to listen to that song, and Tuesday's Gone's a little beat to me too. So your mixture of beat songs I'm kind of completely over with this one, but a couple of nuggets in there, and things going on is cool. Mississippi Kid's cool, but I Ain't the One and Poison Whiskey for me on that album. From 77, of course, I got my import Japan edition of Riot's Rock City. About what I expected. You know, I've read some reviews saying it's not the Riot you'll know from the 80s. I think it's pretty close, and I kind of like it. It does feel in places very 77, you know, in terms of that sort of overall sound, I guess you'd say, or production. But the songs are good and solid. I listened to this on the way up to, I think it was Queensryche show. I still got to do a review on that. Riot's Rock City from 77 did not let me down. Got an Obi strip in there. This was like $10 or so. Hell yeah. And only other album I got besides Fire Down Under. Is that what it's called? I always get that title confused. Fire Down Below, Fire Down Under. That's the only one I have besides Rock City. Rock City's solid. And this one I have back on cassette back in the day. U2's October. Listen to this one on the way home from Queensryche. 1981 album. And I always like this one better than Boy. I think Boy's 80. Here's some progression on this one with the songwriting. However, I think the first half of the album is really good. Probably would have been side 1 back in the day. Really solid. I mean, I think it was kind of like great first 5 or 6 songs. When you get towards the end, things start to tail off, but not necessarily in a bad way, just in a different way. Very sort of atmospheric kind of music, and not as poppy and sort of rock as the first half of the record, but good. I was driving home 1 in the morning, you know. It really fit that, you know, cruising late at night in the car. So not a bad album, and actually a really good album. Just a little different than I remembered it, and probably in a good way overall. Another one from 81, classic. This could be a Love You Long Time episode coming up. Hard and Heavy from Anvil, classic. Canadian metal band, of course. I don't need to say much more about how good these guys are. Solid debut album. I don't think I ever actually owned any Anvil. My friend Rick did, next door neighbor, best friend. He had all their first 3 records. I just taped them off him and listened to this once. Really good, solid one. Really like their version of Paint It Black, but of course School Loves Killer, AC/DC, other good stuff. Oh Jane, I think, is pretty good. Solid record. 88, another one of those Haddonfield Record Exchange pickups. I think this was $1. Long Cold Winter from Cinderella. Pretty middle of the road, but not in a bad way. If you're in the mood for some quasi hair metal, it's hard rock, it's pop rock, some of these songs. It's heavy, you know, in some places. It's all over the place, but I think, you know, intentionally the band with this plain cover kind of saying to the world, don't look at us, don't judge us with the whole hair metal scene thing. Listen to our music and then let us know what you think, you know. So I think that's what they were going for anyway. And, you know, it's good. I don't think it's awesome, but I kind of, you know, I don't have much in the way of hair metal in my collection. I don't like hair metal, that genre. But, you know, this was sort of teetering on the edge. You know, I had this back in the day and I liked this one. 88. Probably the tail end of me being into metal back in the 80s. And here's a concert from 99. It sounds like it's from Germany, listening to John Sykes talk. The 99 tribute or Sykes-led Thin Lizzy tour. And you also got Tommy Aldridge on drums. Of course, Scott Gorham's there. Sorry, I'm forgetting who else is here. It doesn't say. And one of these cheesy sort of special products, extended versions, scream cheap. However, a lot of these I think are live, you know, live CDs. Various bands put these extended versions out. Picked this one up for $3 or $4. And sound quality is good, not fantastic, but definitely decent and very listenable. Of course, you got Cold Sweat on there that kicks ass. Their version of, man, Sykes really does a great job. Every version I ever heard him do of Still in Love with You sounds awesome, and this one does also. And Sun Goes Down is pretty cool too. That's the very last song. Kind of a weird ender, but I'm sure they chopped this set list up for whatever reason to put it in this order. And good one there for $3 or $4 from Lizzy. You're going to pay $20, $30 for a bootleg from 99. Might as well grab that one too, right? Now when summer comes, I get a little more into pop music. You know, we're on the beach with friends and not everyone wants to listen to Sabbath's 69 outtakes. So I get a little pop stuff here and there this time of year. Amy Winehouse's Back to Black, 2006. If you like the song Rehab, you'll like the whole album. That's my one criticism of this album. Really good and solid. I like the throwback retro, you know, mid-60s soul sort of feel. But every song kind of has that same kind of vibe. So it gets a little repetitious overall. Maybe I just need to hear it more. I only heard it once. And it's a good one though. Again, a couple bucks off eBay. Why the hell not? And of course, did a whole video on VH in their Tokyo Dome 2013. Talked about this already. Picked up the deluxe edition of Different Kind of Truth. So we got some DVD, black and white acoustic action. That's great. See the last Tokyo Dome review about that guy. Now here's just some stuff that I've been listening to a lot lately. Throw my 2 cents in. Cat Stevens, 1970, Tea for the Tillerman. Picked this up a few months ago. Had this in my car, listened to it 2 or 3 times. It is a classic. Just, what else can I say? Every song on here is really good. The one thing I'll tell you about this thing, yeah, it's acoustic driven pop rock music, singer-songwriter stuff. Real tasteful inclusion of string instruments, backing them up. And what I mean is it's just there, and I hear a lot of cello. The cello sort of thumps right along with the acoustic to beef up the acoustic, you know, so it's, or it could be a stand-up bass in places. Sounds like a cello to me, but a little bit of flute, you know, woodwinds and a little bit of percussion instruments here and there, but that cello seems to be driving giving that acoustic a real chunky, bassy sound, and I really was loving listening to this thing. I don't listen to things twice in a row that often, but this one I felt the need to. I only have his greatest hits, maybe one other album that I don't think I've even got to yet. This belongs in everyone's collection. There is a Bob Marley documentary I've talked about before, Caribbean Nights. It's got some other name. It's on the Live at the Rainbow DVD as a bonus feature. That's the best Bob Marley documentary out there as far as I've seen. Now, I haven't seen the new movie, but there's no way this is going to beat that, Caribbean Nights. But during that Bob Marley documentary, what's his name? Chris Blackwell, Marley's producer, with what's the record company? Forgetting it. You know what I'm talking about. He was talking about producing Bob Marley, and he said, went to produce him and so forth, like I do with all bands. And he said, there's only been one band I've ever heard, or one record I ever heard, that didn't need anything done to it when I heard the demos. That would be this. He said, there was nothing I could do to improve Tea for the Tillerman when Cat Stevens brought me in the demos. So he just basically re-recorded it the way the demos were recorded, it sounds like. Pretty rare that you'll hear a producer say, I can't help this thing, So that's pretty high praise for that also. Just thought I'd bring that up. I think we're 75, Jefferson Starship's Red Octopus, a classic, a great one. Got a couple hits on there, but you got a lot of unknown songs that are really good too. And first time I listened to this, thought there was a few songs on there that sounded very Airplane to me. Second time around, not so much. It's just a solid record from Jefferson Starship. Maybe their best. I don't have their full catalog, but it's the best of the 2 or 3 that I have so far. All the VH Fever, I pulled out my debut, which I haven't played in years. Just a classic and a scorcher, as you know. No more words needed there. Merciful Fate, their debut EP. I don't have it on CD. I know they put that back out along with the other classic early albums a couple years ago. Digipack, not for me. But I've had this for years anyway. The Beginning, and this is actually earlier edition of it. I think it's on Roadrunner Records. I like this cover better than the black one they ended up changing it to later on. And of course you got the debut EP. Some people call it Nuns Have No Fun. This would be the first 4 songs on here, which are awesome. Then you got some, I think, bonus tracks, demos, and B-sides and stuff. Just a great classic listen. There is a lot of sort of overlap between this and Return of the Vampire, the bonus tracks on your Melissa 25th anniversary edition that I have. But it's all good. I don't mind hearing those songs over and over when I listen to the various Merciful Fate albums. Killer stuff there. And one thing that I didn't mention before I forget, Styx's, forgot to bring it. It's in my car, I forgot it. Styx's Crystal Ball, gave that one listen. That's part of your 13 for part 1 of June here. And really good album. Love that song Crystal Ball. I had that on a compilation years ago, going back to the 80s actually. One of those classics, volume whatever. And Crystal Ball, the song is awesome. Overall, the album's really good. I want to get back to that one. That's why I listened to it probably a month ago at this point or more, but I left it in my car to give it another listen soon. That's a great album from Styx, best I can tell. And lastly, just got into Show No Mercy with a spin a week or 2 ago. Been busy with some other stuff, but this will stay out among the stuff to be played next pile. Slayer, Show No Mercy, their debut from, is it 83? And great one. I had the cassette back in the day, so I think there's one song that's not on here that was on the tape. Get back into this one. Possible Love You Long Time episode with this one also. Guys, that's going to wrap it up. Got multiple episodes in the works. Thanks for hanging in there. Beach episode. If you like it, let me know. Hopefully you do. All right, guys. Everyone have a good day. See you next time.